Want to discuss perhaps one of the most important questions. What is the Torah's viewpoint on buying a fancy car? Is it permitted? Is it permissible? Is it a nice idea not to? Nice but not necessary? What is the bottom line answer? First of all, I want to categorize this question, okay? There are a lot of haters out there. People think, they jump to conclusions, they think thoughts. Let's just categorize something, okay? A lot of people in the five towns for Rockaway area lease cars. First of all, just want to say leasing usually is money down the drain. Just buy the car. You don't need to keep dealing with the garbage down payment every 3 years. You don't need to deal with the monthly bill every single month. You have to pay for the rent for the car. If you could buy the vehicle, buy it. If you can't put all the money down, which is probably most people, finance the thing. So over a certain amount of time, 6 years, you pay it off, and then the vehicle is free. But anyways, let's go back to our topic over here. All right? Leasing is just a fancy terminology for renting. It means renting. Renting, the rent never ends. Just buy the thing, finance it, and then it's done. Anyways, let's go back to the topic at hand, which is buying the vehicles. Let's categorize this question. What is considered an expensive and a fancy vehicle? Okay? So for all those haters out there, I would argue that a Tesla is a very affordable vehicle. The numbers don't lie. You could go on their website right now and you'll see that at the time of this recording, February 5th, in the middle of the afternoon in 2025, that's the English year, okay? At the time of this, you could go on their website, and I actually have it. I'll pull it up right now to make sure that everything's legit over here. You go on the website and you look at the Model 3. The Model 3 is the cheapest car of the current Teslas that are available. And you look at a lease price. Let's do lease prices because a lot of people for some reason do like leasing. A lease price, it says $3,000 you put down, and it says now that your monthly payment is $249 over 36 months. So if you roll in the lease price to your monthly payment, we are talking about a price that is less than $350 a month. Keep in mind there is no gas. So the average person in a month probably spends, I would argue, around $150 on gas. Okay? So therefore, we are essentially talking about less than $200 a month. I wouldn't call that a fancy vehicle. So this terminology of a fancy vehicle has to be clarified and crystallized to what we are discussing. A fancy vehicle, I would consider, is, for example, let's say we're going to work in the electric world, a Lucid, a Model S, a Model X, a brand new one with the 7 seats. We're talking about, after taxes, close to $100,000, a Porsche Taycan, however it's pronounced, and other such vehicles. However, these vehicles, such as the Model 3 and the Model Y, and as time goes on, are going to become more and more affordable, and they already are very affordable. The cash price of a Model 3 is it's really $42,000. Then you have to add in the taxes, of course, and the bogus destination fee and all of these things. The point is that the lease price is very competitive, and also the purchase price, especially on a Model Y, very reasonable. And especially if we're talking about getting the $8,000 back for the tax credits. So therefore, we have to just clarify what we're talking about when we say a fancy vehicle, okay? A Rolls Royce, which is over $500,000 and could get close to $1 million, that is a very fancy vehicle. That is a very luxurious and expensive vehicle, okay? We have to categorize what we are dealing with. Okay, but that being so that we took all of that out of the way, to figure out what we're talking about. Now the question is, what is the Torah viewpoint on a fancy vehicle? Is it permissible or is it not? So for this, I will defer to Rabbi Eli Mansour's beautiful essay on materialism that he has in his sefer called Living a Torah Life, pages 63 to 68. Kedai to see the whole thing inside, as well as the sefer Olam Moshe and Bereshis, pages 700 to 705, deal with this, and they're basically coming from the episode between Yaakov and Esav. What happened with Yaakov and Esav? Very simple. Yaakov and Esav, okay, they made a treaty, and I'm going to put this in the description, some of these details, not to go into this at length, to keep everything as short as possible so that everyone could watch till the end of this, because this is incredibly important. So all the details will be in the description. Yaakov and Esav, in short, they made a treaty. Esav was going to get everything that this world has to order, all the physicalities, all the luxuries, etc., and Yaakov would only get the next world. That being so, after many years, they split from each other, and then they were meeting again. And Esav came along, and he saw that Yaakov had tons of assets. He has tons of wealth. He was having tremendous success in this world. So Esav asked him, "You're not keeping to your end of the deal. What's going on? Your end of the deal was you're only going to get the next world. I'm going to get this world. How then is it fair that you are getting this world?" That's what Esav asked Yaakov. To that, Yaakov responds, and this is a quote by Yoimer, and he said, Esav said, "Mi elulach, who are these people to you? Who are they? Who are these people over here?" This is, by the way, the if you take a look at the Tana Debi Eliyahu zuta in Yud Tes, as well as the Yalkut Shimoni, Chav Hey, and Kuf Yud Aleph, they discuss this. Take a look at the pasuk though in Bereshis Lamed Gimel Hey. He said, "Who are these people?" And you know what Yaakov said? These are the children that Hashem basically graced upon me. He bestowed upon me, that Hashem gave me. In other words, based on an elaboration of the Tana Debi Eliyahu, the idea is that Yaakov responded that the material is something that's coming directly from Hashem. All of the success in this world is directly from Hashem, and it has a purpose. The material, the physical that we have, whatever we have in this world, is a means to an end. It's a means to an end. It's something that we have to utilize for our mission on this planet. When we're in this world, we have to utilize this. It's only a means to an end so that we could achieve the next world. We could only acquire material possessions if we understand that we have to implement them to our service as Hashem to get to the next world. Esav, he amassed his physical assets and his items and his luxuries only so that he could enjoy more of it. He slept so that he could eat more. He ate so that he could sleep more, etc. He just wanted more and more and more. Yaakov says, no. The food, the vehicles, the houses, all this stuff is only a means to an end. It's not an objective in and of itself. It's a way to get to the next world. Every single item that Yaakov owned had a specific purpose, and it was directed for heaven. The question we need to ask ourselves is, if we're going to spend $10,000 for a simcha on flowers, just on the flowers, for a chasana, for a wedding, for bar mitzvah, but then when we hear the price of tefillin is a couple of thousand, oh, too expensive. What's going on? That's contradictory. Do we feel that for a $200 doorknob is a fair price, but a $100 mezuzah is fraud? That's what we have to figure out. Where is the money that we're spending going towards? Is it contradictory or not? Are we using our assets that we have for the right reasons, our monies that we have for the right reason? This is a real danger. This is called the Esav trap. If we have a car, we have to use it. Use it for mitzvahs, to go to the yeshiva, to go to a chavrusa, to go to a shir, to learn, to go to shul, to daven for mitzvahs, to do chesed. The doorknob, that's the ketchup, that's the tofu, it's secondary. The mezuzah, that's the sandwich, that's the ikr, the main item. We have to make sure not to confuse the two. Based on this, it's worthwhile to relate the following story. A couple went to see Rabbi Aryeh Leib Steinman, and the husband was a very talented individual, and he was also very wealthy. But he drove an old car. It was over 10 years old. And you couldn't even get the vehicle anymore, it was so old. His wife said that the time came to exchange the car for a new and a nice model. She already had the color picked out. So they asked Rav Aryeh Leib, why not? Why not? So That's what Ari Leib said. Why don't you get the vehicle? Now, of course, he was very far from such types of matters, but he said, why not? What's the downside? So the husband answered, I'm afraid of an ayin hara, the evil eye. I don't want people to get jealous of me. Ayin hara could cause. But now, it's a reasonable concern. Ayin hara. So Rav Aaron, he asked, tell me, could I test you on Shas? What a question. Was he an Avrich? Was he steiging away? He was learning away in Kollel? And even if he was learning in Kollel, would he have known the entire Shas? But that's another question, another discussion in and of itself. So then the Gadol asked, what about Seder Moed? The rabbi said, maybe, Seder Moed? Maybe Noshim Mizikin? Certain Simona, maybe? He said, no, he wasn't very learned at all. So Rav Aaron, he wouldn't let it go. What about one Masechta? Maybe, no. Masechta. What about a parak? A parak? I said, no, sorry, I don't even know a parak. Comes Rav Ari Steinman, why would anyone be jealous of you? What is there to be jealous of? Think about that for a second. What are people jealous of? All this physical stuff? Fancy vacations, fancy clothing, fancy high-end food, fancy houses. It's all fleeting. It's irrelevant. He said, what do you have to worry about getting the car? No one's going to be jealous of you. There's no ayin hara. Comes along Rabbi Yaakov Galinsky in Vihigadata and Parshas Emor, Chav Gimel Mem, and he says he's not even the Estrog, this fella. He's not the Lulav. Maybe he's the Hadas or the Rava, this guy. That's the main priority. They asked a similar story. I think it was with Rav Chaim Kanievsky. Someone won the lottery, millions and millions of dollars, became a multi-millionaire overnight. So he wanted to know, is he allowed to build a big house? So he said, are you learning more? Are you davening more? Are you doing better mitzvahs? He said, no. He says, so then what's the problem? No one's going to get jealous of you. That's the view of Gedolim. By the way, how is it even possible not to get jealous as a side point? So this is a major discussion in and of itself. I'll put the link in the description where I gave this shir. It's on rabbiblon.com. If I'm not mistaken, it's Parshas Yisro, and I'll put the link in the description, the exact year that I gave it, so you can listen to the audio. Maybe I'm going to give another shir this year on it. How is it possible not to get jealous? There are over a dozen answers to this question. It's actually it's a Googled question. A lot of people Google this question from any religion, they Google it. One explanation is that Rav Zilberstein explains, and he's quoted if you want to take a look. This is in the Sefer Aleinu L'Shabeach. He's quoted saying that, put it all down there in the description. He's quoted saying, why does the pasuk says, don't get jealous, talks about not to get jealous of many specific items, a person's wife, his donkey, aka car, etc. And then it says, the pasuk concludes, v'chol asher l'reyecha. Anything that is your neighbor's, don't get jealous. So why do you need to specify everything and then in the end say everything? You already specified pretty much everything on the list. Comes with Zilberstein, if you're going to get jealous of your friend, get jealous of everything that he has, including the sicknesses and other issues that he has. I remember there's a certain house that's near where my grandmother used to live, and it must have been a $5 million house. It was very large, and they built it, and it was, double properties, and then you connect the two properties, knock down both houses, build a mega mansion. My grandmother said, it's a very nice house, but Lamaisa, the guy's got cancer. So what's it worth? The guy's dead, it's worth nothing. Right? So you got to get jealous of everything. Similarly, Victor Miller Zatzal in his commentary to the Choivos Alavavos, in the section of Avoidus, Eloikim Shar Gimel, Peri Gimel, says a similar idea. He says like this: someone wealthy could experience the anguish of business reverses, personal illness, or domestic troubles. When we look at the wealthy man on the outside, but don't see A lot of times we just look at the wealthy man on the outside, but we don't see everything that's happening to him on the inside. So in other words, in conclusion, if it wasn't clear enough yet, when it comes to a luxurious vehicle, look, it's all relevant. It depends how much a person has. If a person worked really hard, established a business or a real estate empire, whatever he did, nursing homes, and he became very successful, however he became successful, investing in stocks in the long term, that's the average way for that's a great method for the average person to build serious wealth, especially when he gets older. So if a person became successful and he has the money and he has a lot of money, it's all relative. What 100,000 is for him, it has the value of, I don't know, $4,000 for the average person or less, just because he has so much more money. So it really is all relative for him. But the idea is that he has to use it for the right reasons. Don't get a fancy vehicle to show off so that people will look at you. That's ridiculous. You could take a look in the book called A Millionaire Next Door, which is an excellent book that I read. I was actually, the only reason that I opened it up or ever heard of it is because of the Meister Plan, which was recommended to me by someone else, and he quoted from it, written by Rabbi Dr. Meister. That's another story in and of itself. Great book also, great safer. So they talk about in there how certain people, he says, they bought fancy cars. Why? So people will stare at them, they'll look at them. That's ridiculous. If you want people to look at you, just walk around with duct tape all over your body or something, or put duct tape all over your car. People look at it. It's ridiculous. Get it for the right reason. Get it for the reason that, oh, this is a smart financial decision for me and my family to get a vehicle that now I don't need to pay gas on, that now I could get the $8,000 for the federal tax credit back if you're eligible because you pay taxes from the money that you earn, right? Get it because it makes sense as a vehicle. Now I don't need to waste time going to the gas pump and sitting there in the cold in the middle of the winter out there because the button is always broken in New York that you can't hold that the thing automatically doesn't get held up the gas thing. So you got to sit there like a loser for 4 minutes while doing nothing except for watching the filth on the screens that they have at the gas station. Instead of doing that, realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't freeze myself. I'll just get an electric car, just plug it in overnight, and then the thing will be full ready in the morning. By the way, if you do own a gas car and go to the gas station, instead of just wasting time watching the screen by the gas station, turn on the shiurim that I'm giving over here and watch those instead. That's a way to utilize your time. Let's get serious about that. But that's another point. Point is the guy says, look, I'm getting it for all of those reasons. I'm getting it because this makes sense financially. That's a mature decision to make. But even someone who's a little immature, and we can't all control our Yetzer and he wants to splurge on a luxurious vehicle, it's permissible. But he should use it for mitzvahs, use it for the right reasons. That's the idea. Everyone should be safe and have a wonderful day.